Andrew and Lance. Today, we're going to go over our two favorite teams. First up will be the Vikings. There was a win involved, but there is a lot of difficulty. But first, how are you prepared for the holidays, Lance? It's right around the corner. We're like, what, 3 days away from Christmas? Are you ready?
Andrew, I bought my last gift this weekend. It was Amazon delivery to a sister of mine. It was the last one, and now everything else is done. It's a great feeling.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it's just kind of been a work in progress and everything else, but um, yeah, we're getting there. We did the holiday routine. I sent a Christmas card to you in the mail. You should be getting that sometime soon.
Oh, awesome. Appreciate that.
So, yeah, I every Christmas season I like to draw a picture and send it to my friends. So,
Okay. That's cool. Yeah.
did that for the holidays, and yeah, man, I think we're just about done, which is nice. We'll get to Christmas Eve and Christmas, and hopefully just be able to enjoy the day.
There you go. There you go. And you don't have to worry about your team playing on Christmas Day. You're like, you just breathe. You don't have to worry
Yes.
about stressing out on the game. So,
Hmm.
yeah, it's good to go. And hey, for me, we play on Christmas Day, but it doesn't matter. So I don't have to stress out about that either.
Yeah. Well, it's a different type of feeling for sure. When
Yeah.
you're not in playoff contention, but um, I mean, good win for you guys on Sunday.
Yeah. We'll get to it. Let's not waste any more time without further ado, as it were.
Oh, were you not gonna? Do
Um,
you guys not? Have you thought about any like stuff you guys are doing on your part? You just didn't say if.
oh no, no. I just was there's something really difficult with this football game, but as far as Christmas is concerned, we're pretty much done. I have one more thing to get from my oldest son. He's interested in some cooking, so we have to figure out cookbooks and stuff like that to send to him. But we're pretty much ready to go. I only have to work in the office one day this whole week, so that's awesome. That's tomorrow. And just time with family, hanging out. This will be Timothy's second official Christmas, but his like first one he'll be
Yeah.
able to do
Yes.
anything with. So we're excited about that.
Yeah. It's a cool feeling when your kids get to that point where Christmas
Yeah,
becomes real exciting. Yeah. It's fun.
yeah, for sure. For sure. Okay. Let's talk about that 16 to 13 win. Um, both teams weren't truly interested in this game. You could tell because for the Giants, I think they did like 9 or 10 straight run plays. Their first pass play wasn't until they got in the red zone, like 3rd and 8. No, no, their first pass play was on a 4th down, and they got sacked. It was just crazy. Both teams were just kind of meh, trying not to get hurt, but unfortunately, there were some players that did get hurt. Starting with the Vikings defense, Vikings even showed up, but again, I think that's because the Giants didn't really fully play this game because Jackson Dart only had 13 pass attempts and they had 30 carries in a game where they were losing for a majority of it. It was odd, but hey, we held Jackson Dart to 33 passing yards, an interception, and 5 sacks. He had a 4.7 QBR. That is not really that good. And Jackson Dart's played well this year, so I got to give the Vikings defense credit. This is the sixth straight game without giving up a passing touchdown. That's just insane. They haven't given up a passing touchdown since they played the Lions, and they play them on Christmas. So probably that streak will probably end. But hey, it was a good streak. Just some guys on defense I want to shout out. Blake Cashman with 16 tackles. That was just phenomenal. And then Jonathan Allen probably played his best game of the year. He's been struggling this year after we picked him up in free agency because after he got cut by the Commanders. Looked like that might not have been the best signing, and it still probably isn't. But he had a good game. 8 tackles, 2 tackles for loss. He had a sack. He had a QB hit. He was all over the place. And our highly paid corner um, finally got his first interception of the year. Byron Murphy Jr., who I think he had 8 last year, his first pick. Congratulations. We needed more, but he got his first one. There was a lot that fell through his hands this year, and he finally was able to pull that one in. Um, so yeah, defense really held the Giants to only two field goals. They scored a touchdown on a scoop and score, which I'll get to. So defense showed up. They played well. But again, the Giants didn't really fully play this game. They ran the ball okay. The Giants did. They averaged 4.3 a carry. Tyrone Trace had 71 yards. Devin Singletary had 47 on the ground. 128 total. It's not bad. Vikings run defense was getting gashed a little here and there, but they closed it. They closed shop when they needed to. Another shout out to Will Reichert. Again, a perfect day kicking, 3 for 3, and his extra point. Didn't miss a kick even in that crazy wind. That was a very, very windy day, and he was perfect again. It's really nice to have a good kicker, and I'm sure you have some thoughts
Yeah, I was just gonna
on some
say,
kicking game.
I think the Vikings are looking to make a trade with the Eagles for their All
Oh,
Pro
oh, is that is
kicker.
that is that what you're thinking? Is that
Yeah,
what you're
and
thinking?
you guys will send Will Reichert in return. You won't miss him that
Sure.
much.
Yeah.
You won't notice
No,
anything.
that's
There's no
not gonna
drop off.
happen. Yeah, that's not gonna happen. He might be our best player right now because of health. But anyway, um, now getting to the offense, I'll get to McCarthy last. Um, Jefferson, he finally got going a little bit. It wasn't like a an amazing game, but he was dialed in. They were trying to get him the ball. He was 6 catches, 85 yards, and 8 targets. He did have a drop. It was a very, I mean, that ball that McCarthy threw to him was a fast ball. He zoomed it in there, and Jefferson had two hands on it, no one around him, and he didn't pull it in. So Jefferson's got to catch those. I know that maybe McCarthy needs to take just maybe 10% off of some of his heaters, but these are professional receivers. Justin Jefferson getting paid 35 million dollars a year. You have to catch those. And he knows he does. But he was 6 for 85, pretty solid. Jordan Addison, oh man, he has 8 drops this year. His drop percentage is like almost record breaking. And he had one that was just right in the breadbasket. McCarthy was getting pressure in his face, and McCarthy threw this ball with anticipation where Addison didn't even break his route yet. And McCarthy threw it right where he was in the end zone, hit him right in stride, right in his arms. He fell to the ground, ball pops out after it hits the ground. You can't have that happen, Addison. You have to catch those. McCarthy's day looks a lot better, and we'll get to his day, but it looks a lot better if he catches that pass. And it's not, that one was not a difficult catch. That one is just probably you and I could have caught that pass. It was just right there. It's just Addison, when he hit the ground, he did not control the ball and it popped out. It was just so frustrating to see. And that's happened so often this year with Addison. I mean, if he was wanting to be a one somewhere and be traded in the offseason or the next year, he's not going to get that because he's not playing like a one right now. He's playing like a two, sometimes a three because of those drops. He gets open. He's a great route runner. He's a great football player, but he's got to catch the ball. He just can't have that. And that doesn't even count the off-field stuff that he's had past 3 years. If he gets out of control too, he could be a legit threat in this league. But man, so many drops. And then even a player that has had 0 drops all year in Jalen Naylor, he had a bad drop this week. He's been playing really well, and this ball was behind him a little bit. McCarthy threw another fastball behind Naylor just a little. Naylor had to contort his body, but he had two hands on it at the top of the top of the route right there, top of the ball, and just popped it up. Interception. Just can't have that. You got to pull those in. And he even had Naylor had another one. I think it was Naylor. It was either Naylor or Addison, one of the two, that the ball hit them in the hands in the red zone, popped it up, and it was a pick six that luckily got called back on an offside penalty. But so many drops. We had 3 drops this game, and they were balls that easily should have been caught. We just got to work on that. It's very disappointing to see all these drops. McCarthy was 9 for 14, 108 yards and a pick. And if his passes weren't dropped, he would probably have been like 12 of 14, 140 yards and a touchdown and no interceptions. Probably would have been his day without drops. But man, it's so frustrating. And then we get to the end of the second quarter. I watched the play a few times, and I'm not sure if I'm more annoyed by the play design, the play call, or the execution. But the way it was done, and Brian O'Neill, our right tackle, I'm pretty sure he mentioned that that's the way that the design was. It was a screen pass. Screen passes are they put the quarterback in danger, but they're very effective. So I'm a fan of screen passes. Um, but the screen pass was going to the left side of the field, and our right tackle still let the edge rusher go by freely without even touching him, even though Brian O'Neill was not going to be involved in blocking on the left side of the field. So I'm not sure if that was the design or if he just was confused. I don't know. But he let Brian Burns go untouched, an elite pass rusher in his right, one of the top 10 probably in the league. He's really good. And he gets to McCarthy before McCarthy can throw the ball because he's so quick, he's fast, and just goes right to him, hits him right in the chest, clean tackle. McCarthy fumbles, they scoop and score touchdown, and the game actually looks like a game after that. But and it wasn't on that play that McCarthy got hurt. He actually got hurt a few plays earlier whenever he threw a pass and his hand hit a helmet. But that hit the hand that got hurt already, and it did more damage. And he had to leave the game because he couldn't grip a football, and he was out for the rest of the second half. To be determined if he's available for Thursday. It's going to be difficult since it's Thursday. X-rays were negative. There's no broken bones. That's a good thing. But again, I don't know if I'm more annoyed at the play design, at the execution, or if McCarthy is just an injury-prone quarterback. I don't know if I'm all the way there yet, but it's been 4 injuries in 2 years. He's missed 24 of his 33 possible games played from injury. He's had his meniscus all year last year, which that I think is just kind of a random bad coincidence. Then he had his ankle. Okay, that's not good, but that happens. Then he had a concussion. All right, this isn't good, but okay, concussion protocol. You got to miss a game. Now he has a hand injury, which he missed the full half. Again, we'll see if he misses any time. I I'm kind of torn if I want him to miss time, if I don't, because we already are shutting down players. Our left tackle shut down for the year, Christian Darrisaw. That's one of the reasons why McCarthy got 3 sacks this game because our backup left tackle is awful. We've shut down some defensive players. Josh Metellus is done for the year. It's just we're calling in for some veterans that have been kind of dealing with some injuries here or there. So do I want McCarthy out there with a bad O line? I don't know. I don't know. I want him to get reps, but if he is injury prone like this, I'm torn if I want him out there right now against a Lions team that's desperate. They have a 16% chance to make the playoffs. Yeah, that's the
I
play right
think
there.
I think it's
Um,
worth pulling up Andrew. Like I'm just looking at it
sure.
right now because you look
Yeah,
at
you're
it
gonna see the right tackle. Just let him go, and look, he's
that
doing nothing.
that to me looks like if you go back and watch it one more time, I think his problem is it's right here. He's got two defenders on the outside, and he doesn't know whether to go outside or inside. But here's the thing
Mm,
that I'll tell you as an offensive lineman playing in high school, take it for what it's worth. He should always take outside. Guard has inside. That's always the way it should be. I think what his problem
hmm
was, so he gets around, right? But let's go back. So let's watch it one more time. I think he thought they were gonna stunt. I think he thought Burns was gonna come in, he's gonna come out, and so he's anticipating this twist. But then in the process, he gets nobody. He's
hmm
gotta he's gotta do something because
Yeah,
like
and the other guy he was looking at had the other running back in the backfield, and he was out there on a route. Watch him. He goes out there on the route, and that's where the other defender goes.
it's poorly executed altogether though, right? Because you look at
hmm
everything's bad. No one's doing their job here. Like the
hmm
screen's just not
And
there.
yeah, and the screen pass wasn't available at the time and needed to be. McCarthy had to hold on to the ball too long because there was nobody there. It was a screen pass to Jefferson, is what it was,
Uh-huh.
and Jefferson wasn't available for the pass at the time that he got crushed.
That's just horrible execution by the whole offensive line. But yeah, the right tackle. Who's your right tackle?
Brian O'Neill, he's a really good right
Yeah,
tackle. Probably
yeah.
like top 15, top 20 in the league. He's really good, but man, that was just It sucks. It's a bad circumstance. Um, and again, you see that hit, and it's not like it was egregious and it was dirty. 99% of the time, you're not getting hurt. It's just a bad scoop and score. All right, move on. But McCarthy got hurt from that. It's just, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if I want to see him play the rest of the year. Because if he's going with offensive line that's going to make mistakes and can't block and he's going to get hit like that too many times, that's potential for more injury, even if he's not fully hurt from this hand thing. I don't know. I think I lean toward him playing to get the more reps, but you can't let those things happen. You can't put him out there at risk when these games don't matter and you don't want anything lingering into next year. It's just difficult. I've been on the side that he is our guy. I still believe that he is our guy next year. There's no question. But we do need to pick up a viable backup, like some kind of veteran that's, I'm not saying competing for the starting job. That is silly. We're not winning that. We just want a veteran that can get in there and win a game or two because McCarthy has a good chance to get hurt again. Maybe like a Carson Wentz. Maybe we bring him back. I'd be okay with that.
Well,
You were
I
gonna say
mean,
something?
I just looked it up, and Joe Flacco, I think, would be one that makes a ton of sense.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a
Because,
lot of
like,
guys out there.
I'm just looking at the list here. Zach Wilson? Hmm? Huh?
I think so. So Zach Wilson's interesting because he'd be more of a project. He'd be more of like almost like a Sam Darnold that KOC could develop and maybe turn into something. But as made right now, I probably prefer Flacco because you don't have to develop Flacco. He will go in there and know how to run the offense and be able to win you a game or two. I'm talking about someone like the Flaccos, like the Carson Wentzes, who, you give them the offense, you tell them what they need to do, and they'll go execute to the best of their ability. They're not like an elite quarterback anymore, but if McCarthy gets hurt, your offense doesn't have to change. And you don't have to
Hmm.
worry about like a Zach Wilson who you need to develop. He could develop into something. I'm not saying he's a bust like everyone else is saying. He has the potential to develop, but I don't know if KOC would have the time to develop him as the backup to be something legit in the future. I'm thinking more like maybe even I'd be okay with a Jameis Winston because he's gonna go out there and fling that ball and not care. And we got receivers that you can do that with. And I think Winston's a free agent as well. Or maybe he has 1 year left. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I
But
was
there's
interested to
guys
see some
out
match
there.
from him. But yeah, sorry, keep going.
No, you're good. There's guys out there. Like I've mentioned before, Jacob Brissett, even though he had a tough game this week, I'd be fine with Brissett, even though he has 1 year left. It's
And
just we need a veteran that you don't have to worry about. It's going to compete for the starting job. Someone that can speak into McCarthy a little bit, say, hey, this is what you need to do. But especially McCarthy misses a few games, which it seems like has the high potential of happening. You need a veteran that can go in there and let's say he misses 3 games, you can go 2-1. If he misses 4 games, you can go 2-2. It's not going to tank you. Like I think Max Brosmer, we haven't seen a lot, but I don't think he is the viable backup. He needs to be on the team. He's a good three, but I don't know if he's a backup to McCarthy because he is also not sure what he's seeing. He is not experienced. He needs to be developed, and KOC is busy developing McCarthy. He can't do both. So I think Brosman needs to be the three. We need to get a veteran in here that you know can win some games if McCarthy misses some time.
well, another quarterback too, I just saw on the list that I think makes a lot of sense is Jimmy Garoppolo.
That's interesting. Yeah, that's
I
interesting.
mean, I would go for Jimmy. I mean, if he's
Yeah.
available, I mean, like just for context, and I can't believe this, the Miami Dolphins paid Zach Wilson $6 million. Jimmy Garoppolo got $3 million from the Rams.
Mm,
I,
hmm.
in no world does that make sense to me. Jimmy Garoppolo has
And
a way
then
better resume.
the Dolphins started Quinn Ewers over Zach Wilson.
The Dolphins aren't thinking at this point. It's the
Yeah.
wheels are coming off. They lost an embarrassing football game against the Steelers, and they're just making questionable decisions right now as a franchise.
Yeah, I was on board with I thought McDaniels had the locker room and he was probably coming back next year. I'm not all the way on the opposite side yet, but I'm leaning that way now. I'm leaning toward they might clean house and
I think he's
change
out.
things up. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say it's at a 70 to 80% chance he's gone.
Yeah, that's fair.
What's left? I mean, the only way that McDaniels could sell this is if, or McDaniel could sell this is if he tells the team like it's Tua. It's Tua. If I didn't have Tua, my team would be
Hmm.
better. And okay, so if it's not Tua, who's the answer? You got to go back to the draft and really give McDaniel another chance to develop another QB. I mean, I know McDaniel could argue
Hmm.
Tua was never my guy. Um, I wasn't here when we drafted him, but yeah, I don't know.
And where they're drafting, they're not going to get a QB this draft. They're drafting kind of in the 12 to 14 range, in that range. And there's really only like one, at most two QBs. That's what all the experts are saying, at least. Quarterbacks available. And that's Mendoza, who's going number one. That's almost a guarantee. And then I forgot who the other one was, but I think it's the Oregon quarterback that is like a potential top 10, but there's no guarantee. Potential first round, but again, there's no guarantee. The only real quarterback in this draft is Mendoza. Next year's draft in the 27 draft, that has a ton of QBs. That's what people are saying, at least. So they might have to do Tua one more year, or go to Quinn Ewers and see what he's got. But that's not going to be pretty, unless they pick up one of these guys. Like maybe, hey, maybe the Dolphins and the Cardinals just trade quarterbacks. Just trade Murray to the Dolphins, trade Tua to the Cardinals, and both of them can be average teams still. And then maybe they look at the draft the next year.
Uh, I would not sign off on that trade. That would
Me
be.
neither, but I don't want either one of them right now.
I do want to throw out there. I mean, I don't think it's just more Mendoza. I think maybe what you're saying is high pedigree quarterbacks, like high.
Yes,
What I mean,
first
Ty
round
Simpson
quarterbacks.
from Bama, Garrett Nussmeier, Drew Aller from Penn State. I think those are still like for context. So Shador Sanders, is Shador Sanders better than Garrett Nussmeier? Right now, I'd say no. I think Garrett Nussmeier has shown more, and I think Nussmeier's issue at LSU was that was just a bad team. Like the Brian Kelly, I've always said this is a guy that is a high floor, incredibly low ceiling coach. Like he could
Hmm.
get a team off the ground, but in terms of college and winning playoffs and being successful, I would not put him up a high. And so, like, he dealt with a super tumultuous season with Kelly getting kicked out midseason. Like, I think there are circumstances to somewhat mitigate what Nussmeier did. Drew Aller, I think same thing. Like James Franklin, like definitely put a ceiling on that team, and they could never get past that ceiling. Um, and Ty Simpson, I think he's had a good season with Bama. The Bama's went on a run since having that first loss to Florida State into Oklahoma later in the season. I mean, they just won in the first round of the playoffs. So I think those are quarterbacks that, like, I'm just putting in. I would say in the mindset of just because the Dolphins might not get Mendoza or more doesn't mean you shouldn't address the position. Like,
Oh, for
give it
sure.
some
And I
give
think
it some
there's,
thought.
yeah. Yeah, and I think there's like a rule people think that every 2 or 3 years you should be drafting a quarterback anyway, just to develop and see what you got, especially in your room. So all I was saying is they're not in a draft position to get a um, well-known starter. Like maybe one of those guys in the second or third round could be the guy. There's a potential there. But the known like idea of this draft, there's one quarterback that can start from the get-go and can be a starting caliber quarterback, and that's Mendoza. The rest are we're not sure. There's things there, but there's also some concerns. That's all I was getting at is there's not
Yeah,
like they're not drafting where they can get someone that can replace Tua year one unless something crazy happens, which in the quarterback position, usually it doesn't. Sometimes it does, but you don't find too many Tom Brady's. There's not too many guys like in the third round or later that legit are Pro Bowl caliber quarterbacks. It's very rare.
yeah, yep. Oh, that's fair.
Yeah, but overall, we got to win. We're now 7-8 on a three-game winning streak. And it's good to see that these veterans are playing hard for their coach. Like Aaron Jones had 21 carries for 85 yards. I was on this side at the beginning of the year thinking, yeah, this is probably Aaron Jones' last year with us because he's like 32, 33 years old now. I don't think he's 31. I think he's 31 years old, going on 32. And he's a good player, but we should maybe move on. I might want him back next year, just for his veteran presence in the room, and as long as they're carrying the ball like they are, where he's getting like 10 to 12 touches a game at max. Mason's getting 10 to 12. They might throw a third guy in there. He can do that. He can handle 10 to 12 carries and still be effective. Like, I mean, he was only 4 yards to carry this game, but he had some runs that were gashing. He had some negative runs because the Giants D line is good and our O line hasn't played well this game. But Aaron Jones played well. It sucks that Mason hurt his ankle. I don't know the extent of it. He only had 2 carries after because I think he hurt his ankle on a reception actually, his only catch. But I like our combo with Aaron Jones and Jordan Mason. You know the quicker back and the power back, pass catching back against the just the bruiser in the red zone. So if we bring him back, I'll be okay with that. We still need to draft another running back because we have nobody behind that we're developing that looks like something in the future. Xavier Scott's a nice player, but he's not anyone that's going to be competing for a job, like a starting job in this league. He's a room guy. You want him in your room because he practices hard and he's a body in camp. But I would love to see us draft someone that you say, hey, there might be something there because Aaron Jones has 1 year max left. That's it. Next year is going to be his last year, probably in the league. But I'm okay with bringing him back because he's such a good presence in the locker room. He's still playing well. He hasn't really been hurt this year. He's missed a little time, but it hasn't been like legit hurt. So it's been nice to see. It's been nice to see that Aaron Jones is playing well, and I think we should bring him back.
Yeah, I mean, I really thought it was a great job. I was actually just thinking about a context, both in the Cowboys game and this game, he's had late runs to seal the game. Like
Yeah,
really impressive runs that just absolutely
yeah,
took the life out of the defense and then just went down to winding the clock. So props to Aaron Jones on that. He's a good solid runner. I maybe, if the situation where you draft somebody that you think could be the next guy and you trade Aaron Jones, like I could see a path like that happening. Um, but I would agree with you. I think he's someone that's worth keeping on the team. He's
yeah.
done well. Besides that injury he had earlier this year,
hmm
he's still a pretty good running back.
Yep, he is. He is. And it was funny because whenever he ran that last first down, it was like 3rd and 8, and they ran the ball, and he got that first down like late in the game. Giants fans were applauding because they did not want to win the game. I think at the beginning of the game, they wanted to compete. They wanted to see some positive signs, and there wasn't a whole lot because the scoop and score, they were going crazy. They were celebrating, which the scoop and score got them in the game again. But toward the end of the game, they're like, all right, let's not mess this up. Let's lose because we want to try to get that number 1 pick. Um, that way they can possibly trade it. So whenever he got that first down, the crowd was cheering. It was kind of funny.
Well, I mean, it's a rough time to be a Giants fan. Um, do you
Yeah.
believe the rumors, by the way, that what's his name? Freeman from Notre Dame is going to go to New York. I've heard that a lot over the past few weeks.
I don't know. I don't know. There's
Marcus
also
Freeman.
some, and I think that this conversation is messed up. I think it just came because this game looks so bad stat wise. But there's talk that the Giants are not sure if Jackson Dart's their guy. I'm like, come on, let's not go crazy. I put that in the same bin as Jalen Hurts being benched after his tough game where he had all those turnovers. I'm like, come on, people, what are we doing here? That's just ridiculous. Jackson Dart has played really well. This game was all about their game plan. Like they literally ran the ball every single play on 2 straight drives outside of like a third or a fourth and long where they had to throw. That was the only times they threw the ball. They ran the ball so many times this game. 30 runs to 13 attempts, pass attempts. And that was their design. They did want anyone to get hurt. They're done for the year. Let's move on. And they know Jackson Dart, at least internally, they believe Jackson Dart's their guy, so they don't need to see a whole lot more. And they know that Minnesota has an aggressive defense, so they don't want him out there throwing so many passes because he's had so many issues with concussions. They want him to be healthy. No more concussions for Jackson Dart. That's the goal for the Giants the rest of the season. No more concussions for Dart. And they got through a game without a concussion, so success. It was a successful game. So I just that's a silly narrative that just brought out because he had 33 passing yards, 13 net passing yards because of his 5 sacks. Let's not get crazy, people. That was design. They were not trying to win this game, and they were not trying to get him hurt.
Yeah, I mean, I was just looking at his stats, and I mean, he has 13 touchdowns to 5 interceptions. That's it's not bad. He's got an
Hmm.
89.6 QBR or passer rating right now. That's really
Hmm.
good. It's really good. Um,
Yeah.
and I'm just looking at what they have here. They have a first, a second, a third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh next year. Oh no, wait, sorry. Let me try that one more time. They have a first, a second, a fourth, a fifth, a sixth. Well, actually, two sixths and a seventh. So they've got a respectable amount. That's not bad.
Yeah. And as we stand right now, they have the number one overall pick. So they're open for business. Who wants to call? And it's probably gonna be the Raiders or the Jets. That's probably who's gonna get it because they're right behind them and they wouldn't have to give up a ton. Probably their second round pick this year.
I mean, the part that I struggle with in my head is let's say that you're a team right behind the first team, and you know you need a quarterback, and you know they don't. I just don't know why you trade up. I feel like you would wait them
Well,
out and
it's
say,
because you're wanting to block other teams. So
I know,
let's say that the Raiders get the two and the Jets get the three. Well, the Raiders and the Jets are going to be competing for that one main quarterback. So they're both going to be saying, "Hey, we don't want the Raiders to get it. We don't want the Jets to get it." So they're both going to be calling the Giants. That way they can guarantee to get it. So whoever offers the Giants the better package, basically, it's going to be an auction. If it's literally Giants one, Raiders two, Jets three, if it's in that order, then there's going to be an auction because both the Raiders and the Jets are going to be looking at that quarterback, and only one gets to get him. So that's the only reason why is you want to block the team behind you. Now, if there was two quarterbacks that were legit that could go 1-2, like there are a lot of years, like hey, who do you want? I don't know. It's a coin flip. Like Caleb Williams and Drake May, 1-2. All right, that's awesome. We'll take either one. We're not going to trade up because whoever's available, we're going to snag. This year's draft, at least from what draft people are saying, Mendoza is the clear cut. Like, yes, you want him. The rest are like, probably not a top 10 pick. So that's why you would trade up to get that. Or whoever doesn't get him might trade down to try to get one of those other quarterbacks that you think might have potential, but they're not a top 10 pick.
right. Yeah, I mean, I guess the way I just look at it is, I don't know. I like even looking at like let's compare Cam Ward to Jackson Dart. What's the delta between them right now, Andrew? Like, would you say Cam Ward's on a whole nother level than Jackson Dart, or would you say that they're comparable on the level they're playing right now?
They're very comparable. They're very comparable. They're very similar players. They have strong arms. They use their legs. Um, and they've shown signs this year of good play, then signs of like, eh. Only thing I would say is the only thing I would lead on the Cam Ward side is just the injury factor
Yeah,
because those concussions are difficult. But going into the draft, people think they know what they think, and it turns out differently all the time. So that's well known. But going into the draft, Cam Ward was the overall number one. Everyone thought that, and Dart was a first round ish kind of quarterback, maybe second round ish kind of a quarterback. So to your point, Jack Star looks really good this year, and people were kind of out on him. So that could happen again. It's possible, very possible. But I think this year's quarterback draft is going to be a little bit different.
hmm
There's going to be quarterbacks drafted that can play, but at least from what I've been looking into, there's really only one or two bona fide starters. At least that's what the experts are saying.
yeah, that's fair. I don't know. I think of Bo Nix, I think of Patrick Mahomes, I think of Jalen Hurts, Jackson Dart, like these quarterbacks that I wouldn't call them a bust where they were drafted, but people just weren't enamored with them. They were fine with settling.
Hmm.
Um, and then I think of Caleb Williams and I'm not saying Caleb Williams is bad, but I just think like, what's the delta between Williams and Nix? What's the difference? Like, is
Yeah.
it better to give up all this draft capital to go get a quarterback, or is it better to just say, let's reevaluate, let's not give up the whole team and the farm, and then see if we could get someone of comparable value later? That's the way I look at it. So,
Yeah. And,
but
and that's a fair discussion for sure.
one thing I do have to remember in this discussion, Andrew, is you just brought up the New York Jets. We don't tend to think long term and in logical sound practice type of team.
Hmm.
So I think that speaks more to your point where maybe they would be. willing to do the take my money gif, if you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, yeah. And also they have a ton of draft capital, so they have the ammo because they traded Williams, they traded Gardner. They're like, all right, we got picks. What do you want? What do you want, Giants? We'll give you what you want, basically. Because
I mean,
I mean, Tyrod Taylor and Justin Fields, they're not going to be the guys next year. They might not be on the team next year.
I just feel like that's such a boon, you know, if you can
Hmm.
get because the Jets right now, man, you have two first round picks, two second round picks, a fourth round pick, a fifth round pick, a fifth comp, sixth, seventh, another seventh, another seventh, another seventh. Man, that's
Hmm.
so much draft capital to work with. And that's not even
They have
including
some
the year
ammo.
after, which year after is even better because then in
Hmm.
2027, they'll have three first round picks.
Yep. If they can
Crazy.
draft, they could have a team in a couple years.
That's a big if, Andrew.
Hmm.
So let's not give them too much credit right now, but we'll see what happens. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. We'll see what happens. But yeah, overall, liked what I saw from McCarthy. He was playing really well before he got hurt. Again, if those drops didn't happen, he was dealing. He was throwing some dimes out there. I like what I see. He just needs to not get hurt. That's the problem. So we need a backup that can win some games next year, and I think McCarthy can do it. And what's wild now is with the Lions losing that heartbreaker to the Steelers, which it looked like they might win for a second, but offensive pass interference, it was the right call, but still, it's tough. Um, we might not get the last place in the division. Versus, I mean, I don't expect us to beat the Lions, especially not without McCarthy. If it's Brosmer, we're not beating the Lions. But if we beat the Lions on Christmas Day, we have a chance to be third place in the division. The Lions get last place. No one would have predicted the Lions last place in this division. No one. It's Bears Vikings. Those are the two people that everyone picked to get last place. No one would have guessed the Lions. And the Lions are, again, I don't think they're going to get it. They're going to get the third spot and probably miss the playoffs. But if they lose out and Minnesota wins out, which is a high ask, we're not last place. And I don't know if I want that. But it'd be
I
funny to
mean,
not be last place.
I just don't understand, man. We're gonna disagree on this probably, but I feel bad for Jared Goff. I feel like
Mm,
he has done so good for this team, and really the team is letting Jared Goff down.
mm,
I mean, you score 34 points against the Rams, you should feel like you have a chance to win.
hmm.
And they had the offensive pass interference call yesterday. I think that I think we're seeing the downsides of Campbell. And that's not saying he's a bad coach. I just think right now in the season, you're seeing the downsides of Dan Campbell, where,
Yeah.
and so I'm curious to see what moves they make. Are they going to try to find somebody maybe to help bring the more Ben Johnson mindset to the team, or do they think they need more time?
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I think the loss of their coordinators are really showing right now because their defense isn't stopping anybody, which
Yeah.
Aaron Glenn in the Jets now probably wishes he stayed with the Lions because he's had a rough year.
Well, I don't understand why that was the dream job. Like that, I would not take the Jets. Like, no,
No,
just
me neither.
no.
It was probably more of that was the only spot that he could actually get the head coaching job, like the only head coaching job he was offered. So he thought, yes, I want to show that I can do this, that I can be a head coach. And it didn't look so well this year. So right now he's probably regretting that decision. Like, man, I could have had Dan Campbell being the one taking all these shots, and I could have just been over here running the defense. Like
Yeah.
I still remember the game against the Vikings, that week 18 game, I think it was, whenever Sam Darnold was just missing receivers. We had like ton of chances in the red zone, couldn't score. Aaron Glenn was just sitting on the bench, just relaxed, just chilling with his little playbook, just looking like he was on vacation because his defense was doing everything it needed to do to win. And he was just chill, having fun. He probably misses that right now.
Yeah. I totally agree. Well, Andrew, I feel like I've beaten the dead horse on like looking ahead to the future with the draft and giving my thoughts. So, um, sorry I took over the segment.
Oh no, you're good. This was fun because I didn't really have a whole lot for the Vikings this week because of that McCarthy injury. If McCarthy didn't get hurt, I would have been just talking a bunch of McCarthy stats, all his good throws, looking forward to the next couple of games. Now I have some concerns, and I don't know what I want in these next couple of games. I don't know if I want him to play or if I want him to sit and not get hurt again. I'm torn. So it was tough to see that. I was like, not again, because I was on the side of no, he's not injury prone. Concussions happen, and it's hard to say if he actually had a concussion. He was just in the protocol, and when you're in the protocol, it's hard to come back on it, especially on a shorter week. And the ankle injury, that's just happens. So I was on the side of no, he's not injury prone, but now he hurt his hand. So I'm thinking, oh boy, maybe he is. We finally find some talent at quarterback that looks like he has something there, and it just keeps getting these little things. It's not like nothing like season long or career in like threatening, but it's all these little things that just keep popping up. You're like, come on, can't you just stay healthy? So that's just kind of annoying and frustrating. So you're totally fine with going draft talk because that's fun. I love that. We're going to touch on that a lot in the offseason. But I didn't really have any other thoughts on the Vikings game. We got to win. We're 7-8. Congratulations. Now we're at the 14 pick, which again, picks 11 to 15 are like the same. It doesn't matter.
It's the same.
If you can
Yeah.
get in the top 10, maybe that's a different story, but there was no chance at that. So it doesn't matter. Win, lose, draw, rest of the season. If we get the 15 pick, 16 pick, cool. Let's get a good player. That's all we need.
Yep. I agree with you.
Do you have anything else to add?
Well, that's it for me, man. Just
All
ready for our
right.
next segment.
Yes, yes. Well, everyone, thank you for joining us in this episode of the Gridiron Grind with Andrew and Lance. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you next time with Eagles Talk.
Thanks, everybody. We'll see you soon.